What goes on a services page? What do I put on a services page? Your services. Just kidding, there is quite a bit more to talk about than just your services. Hey everybody, my name is Zach here at Yaz, and let's dig into it. So, before I start throwing definitions at you, when I talk about services or service-based businesses, I'm mostly referring to businesses that trade their time for money. So that'll be something like, in the trades, like a plumber, somebody even in my industry, we build websites. So it's somebody that is not necessarily just giving you a product. Of course, there are also product-based businesses that offer services. Think of like a hardware store that also does installations, stuff like that. Let's set some ground rules for your services page. 1, be brief. When somebody's going to your website, they are almost always looking for one very specific piece of information. So I've probably talked about this a lot before, but your homepage, for example, is a terrible place to put big, long paragraphs of information. The more you make people work to find what they want to find, the more likely they are to leave your site. Same thing when you get onto a services page. If they want to read all of your services, perhaps this is the right place to put all of your services, but if they just want information about one of them, there's a few things that you can do. So if you do have a lot of services, you can have kind of a general services page that tells people what those are and then lets them, move to more interior pages. Basically, the more somebody clicks through your links and through your pages, the more likely they are to actually want to read detailed information about stuff. So if they go from your home page to your services page to an individual page about one of your services, that's a pretty good place to actually give them all of that information rather than having it out in the open where they have to really, work hard to kind of filter through it. A super quick pro tip. Because of the way people look for information quickly, it's important to use lots of headings in your pages so that we can quickly, I say we, your customers, can quickly scroll through the page and find this heading is the information that I'm looking for. Again, rather than having to sift through it. Don't make people work for it. My second rule is to target a specific reader. This is something I won't get too far into detail right now, but it is important for you to know that writing content on your website that is aimed at every single person out there is not going to do well for you. You need to understand who your target customer is, even if you've had customers of every demographic. Figure out who the best customer is for you that is going to be looking for your information so you can talk to them on your website like you are doing on your sales calls or when they're in there in person. Keep that consistent and it'll be a lot more beneficial to the customers you want. Okay, so here are the specific things that you can put on your services page. I believe I came up with as many different ideas as I can, but I'm sure there are some that I didn't think of. So 1, of course, put your services. Self-explanatory. Number 2 is your unique value proposition. So people are going to ask you, why should I pick you? Why should I use your services over your competitor? In my experience, that's a really, really hard question to answer unless you do have something that's very different, like we use these eco-friendly so-and-so that our competitors don't have. More likely, your unique value proposition is your level of experience, how much people like working with your team, which will lead us into the third thing, which is social proof. Social proof is defined by anything that shows potential customers that other people use your services or like your services. So if you had testimonials on your page, if you had even like videos of customers using your product, something like that, anything that shows me or your customer that other people use your product, so I should too. It really goes deep into psychology to figure out why we're so invested in doing things that we see other people do, but it kind of shows you that it's less of a threat when you don't feel like you're trying something new. Number 4 is pricing. Now this one is a hot button issue. A lot of companies don't want to put their pricing on the website because either you're afraid that your pricing will scare your customers away before they understand the value they get, or you might have competitors that if you put your prices, they're going to put their prices, which are just slightly cheaper, undercutting yours. But For businesses where it makes sense to put your pricing, it's either where you've done a great job of showing people the value already, or you can at least give people some sort of price range so you don't end up wasting time on phone calls or meeting with people that are way below your price range, or even maybe way above your price range. That's something that a lot of businesses take a while to figure out, and it's another reason that you want to make sure that you're talking to an audience that you actually want. So if you're selling a luxury product, you shouldn't be listing that we are the cheapest, we are affordable, though there is a time and place for that, of course. Coming in at number 5 is frequently asked questions. I've seen lots of success with people putting frequently asked questions on specific services pages to answer questions about that service. Of course, the purpose of this is either to get people all the information they need to make a decision, or to save your team time by answering phone calls, contact forms, and emails asking the same questions over and over again. There's also a lot of reasons to have a general frequently asked questions, and it'll depend on what you're trying to accomplish, whether or not you need one or different ones for your services pages. But that basically boils down to, do people have a ton of questions about specific services? If they do, that might be a good thing to include. Number 6 is calls to action. Now, there is no page that shouldn't have call to actions. They should be everywhere. But where you can use them on your services page is either, if you have the type of services page that's an overview, you can use call to actions to get people to dive in, deeper to that information. Or if they're already at the information, use call to actions to get them to do something. If they read that you have the best, financial advisory services in the city, it's not good enough for them to just read that. You need them to read that and then have an option of what to do next. It kind of seems silly, but there's so much research that goes into, if you tell people to take the next step, they're so much more likely to actually take it, rather than just assuming that they'll, make the best choice for them. I mean, psychology is what a lot of marketing is based on, of course. To wrap everything up, a services page is successful if it can help people get all of the information that they need to make a buying decision as easily as possible. If it can save you time answering a bunch of questions that really should be answered on the website. And 3, if your services page can help you convince customers why you are the best choice. If I went to 30 websites that said, we offer electrician services, and one of the, out of whatever number I said, which I already forget, if only one of them told me the reason why they're the best, chances are I would go for that one. So that's all I've got for this version of what goes on my blank page. If there is another page that you want me to talk about, I already went over your about page, let me know and I can definitely make a video and blog about that. Otherwise, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all these things you're supposed to ask on YouTube, which I'm too new to really know about, how the algorithms actually work, but anyway. So do that. Let me know what you want me to talk about so I don't just sit here prattling on. I'll probably do that anyway. And we will talk to you in the next one. Take care.